Hey, welcome everyone once again to Frontend Topics by me, Alan. And today we are going to continue talking about higher order components. So if you didn't check the previous video, first go there and then come back here. I want to say thanks to React documentation, to the React team, because the documentation that you have here, it's amazing. So we are going to continue taking these examples and I will try to explain what I understand. Today we have the following example. We will have a blog post here which just render a text, and we also have a comment list like here which is rendering a list of comments. So let's go through them a little bit. So here the blog post is doing many things. One thing is that it's getting the blog post from something that we call DataSource. Then we are doing a lot of stuff related to the DataSource. When something changes, we set the blog post to the state, and then we render this text block. Then if we check the comment list, more or less it's doing the same. It's connecting to this data source and it's getting the comments, then doing the same stuff for the data source related things, and it's setting, when something changes, it's setting the comments into the state, and then it's rendering a particular component which is a list of comments. So if we check here what is related to the blog post here, this call, it's related to the blog post because you are saying, hey, get the blog post from the data source, and of course the text block, because we need to render that data somewhere. And if we check the comment list, more or less is the same thing, because this part is just it's related to the comments and also the rendering, but all the other stuff in both components, it is the same, and it is not related to the component itself. It's a way of handling data source changes. And so from last video we learned that we can use higher order components to reuse logic from components. So let's do that. So we are going to have connected blog post, and here is where things are starting. We want a function which we are going to call connect, which it's going to receive a function and a component. So let's do it in this way. So this is going to return a function which receives a second parameter. So we pass the component that we want to wrap, in this case is the blog post, and a function. And why we need a function? Because if you go once again to the blog post, we need a way of getting the blog post. And if you go to the comment list, you need a way of getting the comments. Okay, so let's go back. So if you recall, let's copy this part of the code and we go back. We need that, and let's convert this to a function, because somehow we need to get the data source from somewhere, and also in this case we need the props. Yes, that's great. And then we need to do the same for the comment list. So we are going to call it connected comment list, and please don't take a look here because everything is going to be failing for now. And then we also need a function. Let's copy this from the comment list. Yes, go back And in this case, we don't need the props. We just need that data source. Yes. And we want the comment list here. Okay, and that's all we need, in fact. Yeah, take a moment to see the code. Is just a function which receives another function that returns a function which receives the component that we want to wrap. Thanks, my neighbors, for the noise. Okay, and now we need to implement this connect function. So let's create a new file. Let's call it connect. So what we are going to provide is a function, as we said before, which receives a wrap. No, this receives a data source function, and it also receives a wrap component. And then, yeah, once it has both parameters, it's going to return the new component. So let's copy one of the components. Let's go back to the connect. And here we are going to return a new component, which is going to extend from React. So we need React from React. Yes. Yeah, we also need the data source from somewhere. Import the data source from data source. Yeah. Yes, that should be enough. And then let's see where we need to change things, because of course this connect doesn't know anything about blog post or comment. It just knows how to get things from data. So we cannot have a property in the state called blog post, because we want to reuse it in different for different components. So for now, yeah, let's call it data. I think it's, yeah, pretty expressive. And then here we also don't know anything about what we are getting. What it knows how to get data is the data source. So we need to use that function, and in that function we are going to provide the data source and the props. And yeah, now this is pretty generic, right? Yeah, something we don't need that. Then we need to leave this in this way. That's okay, because that's where we are reusing data. Here is the same thing. Here is called the data source function. So let's put that here. And if you check, we need to get the props.id. No, let's do it with just props. Yeah, because it doesn't know that it could, yeah, it could happen that it doesn't have an ID. What we need to return here? Yeah, we need to return our wrap component. Okay, yeah, we need to change here this to this. And here it's I think here is the most difficult part to understand. So once again, the connect function doesn't know which component it is receiving, but we need a way of providing the data that we get from the data source. So something that we cannot say, hey, here you have your text, but something that we can say is, okay, we can give you the data. Yeah, no, let's give it the state, and the state has the data inside. So now each wrap component will receive a data property with the data that it needs. Oh no, yeah, sorry, my bad here. Import React from React. Yeah, no, it's okay. So what I was saying is that of course we need to refactor the blog post and also the comment list, because we don't need all this data anymore. Okay, so let's see what we have to remove. The constructor is not necessary anymore. All the things related to the data source are not necessary. We can clean that. And yeah, if we check what we are doing in our blog post is just rendering something. So this is what we call a stateless component, or also it is called presentational component. Yeah, you can call it in both ways. So the idea is that it doesn't have anything related to the state. So we can remove this, almost everything, because we just need to render the text block. So let's create our presentational component, which is rendering a text block. But as I said before, the connect component provides the data. So now we have to change that. Here it is receiving the data, and now the text, it's not from the state but from the data.blog post. That should work. Right. Let's go to the comment list. For the comment list is the same. So let's remove almost everything. Yes. Yeah, it is the same. We need, once again, to provide the presentational component which receives data. Yeah, and then returns our JSX. Yeah, but in this case, I want to keep the things as they were before. So I'm going to do something. Yeah, I want to keep the comments. So I will call here comment equals data. So we need a div. Yes, now everything should be okay. And then now we can return to our index. And if you check here, we were using the blog post and the comment list. But now what we need is the connected blog post, and then we need the connected comment list. And it should work, but it's not working because we also need to import the connect function from the connect file. Yes, we are almost there. I think we also need to, here I forgot to put this thing that it's pretty important. Comments is not defined. Okay, we are even closer. Comments, okay, yeah, it's not comment, it's comments. Yes, that's working great. But if you see here, we don't have any blog post. Why is that? The difference is that we just need to render the data. Yeah, and it's working. Okay, so to wrap up, let's see what we have done today. So if you recall, we have two different components that were sharing data, and now all that logic is shared in our higher order component, which is connect. You can check all the logic here. Then our components now doesn't handle the state, they are just presentational. So they now receive a data property and they provide this to the component that they are rendering. This is the blog post, And here we have the command list. The same, receiving data and then providing that to the component that they are rendering. So it's pretty clear now, and we have just one place where we handle all the data handling, the data connecting handling. And if we go back to the index, and I want you to take a deeper look to our connect function, because this is pretty important. There are other libraries, there are big libraries that are using this pattern, and one it's called Redux, and we are going to talk about it in near future, but I wanted to show you that this connect function, it's used in different places. So the difference is that Redux function is receiving 3 or more different things, and then they connect the state to Redux. But yeah, that's for the future for now. But if you see, we are doing more or less the same. So I hope today's video was useful, and see you until the next front-end topic. Bye.